But I guess we're going to move on to our main event, right?
Yeah. The best Kaiju Christmas movie ever released, and the only one. Surprisingly, we have Love and Peace. That's the movie. I have the Third Window Films version over here.
Got it from Terracotta.
Yeah, I got it from Terracotta. It is a Region B Blu-ray, and at least on my 4K player, I could not do the hit the main menu button and skip the region lock settings on there. It would not work. So you just have to toss this thing in your computer and rip the file off. But it's still nice to actually own it. I hope this gets... this seems like a prime movie for an SRS release. I don't know if it will happen, but it's actually... you look at the trailer... I looked at a couple of reviews of this about like a year or two ago when I actually ordered this. I know it was a year ago. I ordered this.
We were going to try to do it last year for our Christmas show, but it came late.
It looks like a silly, stupid movie.
But it's not.
But it's really good.
Yes.
Like surprisingly,
there's some really
one of my favorite movies I've watched this year.
It's got some really nice cinematography.
Like if it came out this year, it would have been on our top 5 movies.
Very likely, yeah. It's a 2015 movie.
It's real. Like I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah.
It's probably going on to the yearly watch list. Like honestly,
and it's got a banger of a song in there. It's got some really good music.
Two really good banger songs.
Yeah.
I mean, the Love and Peace song's obviously the best one, but I don't understand how no one talks about this movie.
Yeah, it's a very good movie, and it stars Hiroki Hasegawa, who was the lead in Shin Godzilla. He was the lead male role in Shin Godzilla. I think this came out the year before Shin Godzilla, or it might have been the same year. But he plays a completely different character here. Like in Shin Godzilla, he's in a suit, serious. Here, he plays this nerdy, super.
He has really bad anxiety.
Self-confidence. Horrible self-confidence. To the point where when he's in his apartment, he dreams that the news is talking about him and making fun of him and laughing at him. And he'll be on the train and it's just, And
he feels like everyone's staring at him.
Like everyone's just staring at him and laughing at him, constantly.
I thought one of the best things, as someone who's actually had really bad anxiety attacks before, him walking he's got really bad stomach pain.
Yeah,
is one of the main at least for me one of the main anxiety feelings, and I was for him to put that in there, I was that was really good.
He was basically having an ulcer.
He was basically having something like that, and then you could just tell the awful anxiety this guy was just suffering every single day just existing.
Yeah, I mean his workplace was not a healthy environment. I mean that was really... the real bullying, and then outside you just see it. They're I would say it was an over exaggerated shown on screen. There's no way this was actually happening. I mean it was on screen, but I feel these
it was on his head.
He'd be walking out of the building and then the entire street was turning to point and laugh at him. But the office was really he was bullied at work, and there was only this one other girl there that she was sort of a loner herself, an introvert, Yuko, and he's kind of got a big crush on her. She's kind of a punk rock fan. When she's first introduced, she's kind of wearing a rock t-shirt, listening to music and going in. Meanwhile, everyone else is in suits. And they work at a company that sells parts for instruments. And you find out in the opening that he's a failed musician. He only did 3 gigs or something, and nobody showed up. So he's got that looming over him, and it's pretty crazy. I just loved this movie so much, though. I was I didn't know what to expect going into it. I didn't think I was gonna like it this much, and I was this is actually a really good movie. And like I said, some of the cinematography and the shots, really nice.
It's one of one of the best shot films I've seen, like especially like these like Japanese kaiju films that have been coming out. They tend to be a little bit more low budget, not as well shot. Like this was amazingly shot, well lit in every single shot. The effects I thought for the puppets were very good. Most of this was practical.
Yes.
I don't really recall anything that was overly CG'd.
No. Yeah, there was a lot of puppetry. I don't think there was just like some like like the stars or whatever like that towards the end, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, like Picadon growing and stuff like that was kind of CG'd. Yeah. Yeah, so he's just like having an awful time at work, and he's like sitting at lunch, and he's like out in like some park, some guy selling like turtles for like 200 yen. So he buys a turtle,
and it becomes his best friend.
Yeah, it's his best friend. They have a great time. It kind of re-inspires him to follow his dreams. And the funny thing is, they were doing like this like newscast about how like the new generation doesn't really know too much about older events or anything like that. So
they're asking like who dropped the bomb on Japan, and they're like, America wouldn't do that. We're friends.
Yeah, they're our best friends. And then like the next scene was like, do you guys know what Picadon means? And the guy goes, oh, it's like, it means kaiju. It's another word for kaiju. And he listens to that, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, you're Picadon. Like, you're,
he names his turtle Picadon.
You're a big kaiju. And then it cuts because he's not paying attention. It cuts, and she's like, oh, it's actually a word for atomic bomb.
And he just doesn't even acknowledge.
He doesn't hear that part.
Yeah. And I mean, he's just best friends with this turtle now, and then he's still got this crush on Yuko.
He like actually draws out like a plan of like, this is my goal, and these are the steps I'm gonna get to my goal. And then the whole time watching this movie, I thought it was like a 2019 movie, because they keep talking about the 2020 Olympics.
Yes.
That's
because they're working on the stadium for the 2020 Olympics. So his main goal after his end game is to get to that stadium and perform a concert there.
Yeah.
And then he wants to get the girl Yuko is one of his goals.
Yeah. So he has this really cute scene where he makes like not only did he draw out the plan, but he made kind of like a course for Picadon to like walk through to get to the stadium, and that kind of harkens over to the whole rest of the film. That kind of sets up the whole theming of the rest of the movie. Is that plan, because all of that happens.
Yeah, he plays the game of life. He has a set pathway. Yeah, so. He goes to work one day with Picadon, and the girl sees him and kind of yells because she didn't expect to see the turtle in his pocket, and everyone at work starts laughing at him. He has a big breakdown. He runs out of work, and this is a scene where like the entire city's just laughing at him, and he runs into this bathroom stall, and he just imagines these people saying, "Get rid of that turtle. Turtles are going to be bad for you," and out of panic, he flushes Picadon down the toilet, but like instant regrets it. Like he pushes the flush, and then he just like it was almost
it's like, no, what did I do?
It's almost comical, like how much of a breakdown he has, like yelling about flushing it. Like to see him like freaking out, it was like sad, but also sort of funny.
Yeah, because
like,
you could tell he's just so tortured inside. Yes. And it's like, oh, this guy, I feel so bad for him. But like also he's making very like split-second decisions.
All out of panic though, because he's got all these things in his head.
And it's a theme that goes on throughout the movie. He's still, up until the end of the movie, he's not reconciled with who he is.
No.
Even when all of his dreams are coming true, he's not happy with himself.
Yeah.
He still has no confidence, even though he's putting on this fake persona. So Picadon ends up at the bottom of the sewer, and ends up there's like a bunch of like toys down there,
Animals.
Abandoned animals and all this stuff, and this like drunk guy comes out, and he's come in, everyone's calling him Papa, and like he's like, oh, like you can live with us, like it's fine.
And all the toys and animals are talking.
Yeah, they all talk.
And they're like, give him a candy so he could talk like us, and we want to be able to talk to him. So he goes into this room, and there's this wall of jars with all these different candies. And you got to remember, he's a drunkard, so he goes to get the talking candy. He gives him the candy, and we later find out that it's not the talking candy; it's the wish candy. So basically, Piggy-Don's almost like a genie in a way, where he makes wishes come true now, this turtle.
Yeah.
And Ryochi had laid out all these dreams that he had to get to Nippon Stadium, but to do that, he had a whole path set out. And from this point on in the movie, all those stones on the path to Nippon Stadium, all those dreams start coming true, one after another. Ryoichi, after flushing Piggy-Don, encounters a guy playing a guitar, but it was a turtle guitar. He freaks out. He's like, Piggy-Don, has another breakdown, runs away. But next day, he's at the bus stop heading to work, and the van pulls up, and just the man is there with his guitar, and the band again kidnaps him, chains him up, brings him to like this parking lot gig, and they have him all chained up like a dog, kicking him around, and they're playing this gig, and they're like, he's got to sing a song. So they hand him an acoustic guitar, and he plays this song for Piggy-Don.
Yeah, which he wrote while walking, like, and in like the previous scene, he kind of like comes up with the song, like all the words pop up to him. So he starts singing the song. The crowd loves it. There's a talent scout there. So she immediately tracks this guy down because he runs off after the performance. Tracks him down to the office, signs him to a deal. Everyone's like treating him like a rock star, even though he's still like all like
disheveled
and cringing and stuff. They got him a new apartment, all this other stuff, and they actually make a replica of his old apartment inside of his current apartment.
Yeah.
The first night he stays there. He only stays in his apartment, his replica apartment. And now he wakes up the next day. His boss calls him up, he's like cursing him out. So he hangs up on the boss, quits his job, embraces the rock star lifestyle, and it kind of has a really big change in character. They rewrite the Piggy-Don song to be Peace and Love, because they're like, oh, it's gonna have a wider appeal.
Because at first they're like, oh, it's a song about nuclear bombs. So like, we want to make it about peace and love instead. So it works. The song works, and it's almost like a sort of like breakout thing. Almost like he was like One Direction or something, where he's all over the news. Everyone loves him. Everyone loves Love and Peace. He's part of this band Revolution Q, which could be a nod to Ultra Q. It looked a very similar kind of logo.
One of the guys in that band was in Neo Ultra Q.
Oh, I did not know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the band's just taking Japan by storm. And then he kind of goes to Yuko, gives her a ticket to the gig, and all his old co-workers. She goes there, and later at night goes back to his apartment, and it's just kind of implied that she stays the night. Then, Ryoichi's success keeps rolling and rolling. Piggy-Don keeps growing bigger and bigger. Every wish he grants, he gets bigger. But the thing is, Ryoichi starts to want more. One of the themes about this movie is it's kind of that even though you're chasing your dreams, even though once you get and achieve that dream, or you get something that you want, you end up wanting more, and you don't appreciate what you have. So he hits the girl. He's got the rock star life that he wanted, but he wants to get to Nippon Stadium. So it gets to the point where one night he's having a party, and she comes to check on him, and he goes, "No, I don't want her here." And they're like, "Oh, he's not here. Go away."
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things is that he's struggling to write.
Yes,
his
that's
second
after
song.
his second song, actually. Yes.
So Picadon comes back, which was actually the most recent wish that he did make. Was him writing that Picadon song was him wishing for Picadon to come back and to be with Picadon and be reunited. So Picadon actually does come back, and he's kind of like ashamed.
He's still embarrassed by the turtle.
Of the turtle?
Because everyone laughed at him for having the turtle.
So when Yuko comes, she just happens to come while the turtle's there, and he kind of like, he's like, "You got it." She's like, "Oh," she's like, "It's fine."
She's like, "It's a cute turtle."
Yeah, and he's like, "No, you got to get out, leave. I don't want to see you." So he like kicks her out. He turns around. Picadon's gone, and that was the, But prior to that, Picadon gave him the lyrics for his second song. So he has his second song. And now he's going through this whole thing where he had everything he wanted. He pushed it away because he's still insecure about himself and Picadon and his lifestyle and who he actually is, and not who this persona that he's putting on. So he's still kind of like really tortured about it. Like whenever he sees that stuff from his past life, he doesn't even want to be referred to from his proper name. He just wants to be called as Wild Ryu.
Yeah.
Like he wants no ties with his former life at all, because it brings the anxiety back. He doesn't have that character anymore. Yeah. So, he's at the party. He tells Yuko to leave, don't come back, and she keeps trying to come back. She goes to all the shows and everything. But he does eventually debut his second song, which the band didn't like, because they were like, "Why are you doing a ballad? We're a rock band, and we're not even involved with the song." Like, and then they literally just stand there while he sings it.
And then he breaks up the band after that song, and that's when Picadon comes out for the third, shows himself to the public though now, and right after he broke the band up, and then he's like, "Oh, this is my love. No, this is peace. Picadon's peace, and he's love," and he's like, "This is like what helps to make songs." He's like, I summed him here with my psychic abilities. He's like, he's gonna sing you guys my next song, and then Picadon sort of sings the tune to the song.
But we don't know what the lyrics are.
We don't know what the lyrics are yet.
We find that at the end of the movie.
Yes. And then these scientists swarm in, take Picadon, because now we have this giant turtle. Now it's not giant like city building. It's like about the size of a car now. Very big for it.
Yeah, like a Fiat, not super big.
Yeah, Fiat Mini Cooper-ish. Anyway,
not very big. It gets bigger and bigger though.
So
while it's being tested on, which I don't know how much testing actually really occurred, because it seems like all the bad science testing gets stopped prior to it actually happening. But it's still in distress, and it's not cool to see that stuff.
Yeah. So Picadon's in the lab now. Right now, she's going to his big concert. There
is this whole toy subplot that we are skipping because it would get way too complicated if we started explaining it.
And the whole toy subplot is like kind of the Santa Claus story. So
that's the actual Christmas storyline to this movie.
But we're going with
not the Kaiju storyline.
Yeah. So there's all these toys and animals. The homeless man gives him promises that he's going to get them homes and new everything by the end of the year. And then on one of the last nights of the Nippon Stadium concert,
it's Christmas Day. Well,
he gives all the toys and all the animals this magic drink, and they all drink it. They love it.
He put the wishing candies in.
Yeah, he kind of blended them up, and now they turn back into new toys. Before, they were dirty, broken toys. They were older animals. They were always saying that we're old, we're not puppies anymore, no one's going to like us. And then he reveals himself after decorating the whole sewer like Christmassy. He turns into Santa Claus with a full-out beard and everything. He goes to the lab where Picadon is, gives Picadon some of that formula.
We'll use him the talking
candy now, because he already had the wish formula. He's like, now you can speak your truth and be you. He's like, nobody in the lab can see Santa because they're all scientists and they don't believe in Santa. So then Picadon begins to grow massive and massive. Ryu's now at his big Nippon Stadium concert. He's playing his song. Yeah. They're killing it. The crowd's going wild. Picadon rampages through Japan. We got some tanks and a cool sequence where the city turns into the board that Ryu had made to lead to the Nippon Stadium, back in his apartment with the box of cards, toys. There's even one of the sequences, they have like the game of life cards and the pegs are like jumping out of the car, like people running away.
Yeah, those were the people. I thought that was really creative.
Yeah. Such a cool sequence.
It was like one of like the like, not for nothing, this movie makes you like a little emotional, like watching. You're like, oh my god, like
yeah,
it like really like actually pulls at the heartstrings.
Yes.
This movie, because Picadon is just so cute, and then the toy storyline is very sad.
Yes. They're all like the Island of Misfit Toys, abandoned toys. They're like, it's almost like Toy Story 3 with Island of Misfit Toys. And animals.
And it's like, oh my god. And then like the Picadon's going towards the stadium, and then it even like reenacts like the turtle going into the stadium.
Yes.
So Picadon goes over top. Everyone sees Picadon.
And he's massive at this point now. Huge.
Yeah. And it starts singing the song that it sang in front of everybody, but he couldn't talk at the time. And basically, while Ryu was going over his dreams with Picadon in his apartment, he kind of made a song like, I'm an iceberg, you guys just see what's at the top, but there's so much more under the water that you guys don't know about me. Like, and you know, it's a really like, you're like, oh my god, like it's like it's like, you know, it's all going on, you're like, tears
and then
are
in
going
the
down.
song he confesses his love to Yuko.
Yeah, after the song, confesses the love to Ryu, because now he's just saying everything that he heard.
Yeah, and then he disappears into the starry sky, and Ryu just has like a breakdown on stage, starts to walk out. They let you go through because she's like, oh, he loves me. And he just kind of stops, looks at her, breaks down crying, keeps walking. And he walks all the way back home to his apartment. And he's just his old apartment. And he's...
Yeah, because that was one of the things, too, is that he's like, oh, it's a replica of your apartment. We didn't move it. That would be too expensive, which is weird because you think it'd be cheaper to just move stuff instead of buying everything again. But he's like, you could always go back to it if you want.
So...
But it... Yeah.
No, he goes back to it, and he's all by himself. And he's just kind of like... all like over himself because of all the mistakes and... how he got so clouded. It got to the point where he was at the same, he wanted to go beyond that dream now. He wanted to take over the world with his music.
Yeah.
And then Picadon, the small baby Picadon, turtle form, comes through the window and he's reunited with his best friend. He's so happy. And then Yuko appears at the apartment. And
that's the closing shot.
Great movie, man. And like I said, one of the themes was just not appreciating what you have, because even Santa was giving the salesman guys some crap. He's like, you're gonna get this and then you're not gonna want it and then you're gonna want something else the next year. And really, really crazy. It sounds like so many messages. There's so much more to this movie. You guys need to check it out for yourself. And it's actually a very good movie.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, like, it's one of the best movies I've seen in 2024. I wasn't expecting it. I was kind of dreading watching the movie just from like the trailers and stuff. The trailers don't do a good job of showing off this movie at all. It's honestly an amazing movie.
Yeah.
And it needs to be more available here in
honestly
America.
feels like one of those movies that like I feel like if it did get a global release, it probably would have won some awards, honestly.
Yeah, I think the thing that's holding it back is some of the puppetry, specifically for the cat, was a little weird. Honestly, I think if you would have cropped some of the shots, it would have looked a little bit better. But besides that, it's the only thing in this movie that I was like, all right, this looks a little meh. But like everything else was so well shot. The messages were so good. The Maria side story that we didn't cover with this like doll was like absolutely gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Like absolutely like, like.
Yeah.
So sad. And everything was just so incredibly acted by everybody. Like, from the unnamed bandmates to the drunk Santa character to Ryu, the manager, even just like Picadon, like all of it was just so good.
Yeah.
Like better than it had any right to be, honestly. Yeah. Completely just blew expectations out of the water.
Yeah.
And I would say if you can, check this movie.
Yeah, if Terracotta still has it, we'll link them up. We're gonna link wherever you can buy this from. If you have a computer, you can play it on your computer.
Yeah.
Definitely a must watch.
Definitely. Yeah. It's definitely a top movie, and I really hope that. I can't believe it's a 2015 movie.
Yeah.
With it being a 9-year-old movie, I would have thought this had been more prolific by now, because it is very
yes.
But yeah, I think that wraps it up for the year. Yeah. I think we'll see you guys in 2025.
Yeah.
Hope you guys have great holidays over the year, and let us know what you guys think of this movie if you've seen it.
Thank you for watching, guys. Happy holidays and a happy new year.